what the fuck? It's deja vu all over again. Really, it just seems like the other day, whatever, I made the video of changing the shock absorbers on the 2003 Tundra. And you know, I don't know, it had about 70, 80,000, 7,000 miles or so. Whatever it was, I changed the shocks and I thought I was going to be cool. Well, the sons of bitches have gone out again. And you can just barely see them. Here's the white, I'm holding it right here. And last time I did it, I actually took out the coil, or you know, the whole, what the hell is it called, strut assembly, crushed the springs, pulled out the shock, put a new one in, unbooted the spring. Well, this time I decided I'm going to spend a little extra money, and I got the whole damn assembly. Yeah, I know it's more money, but this one came with the limited lifetime guarantee. If I'd have done that last time, I could have got parts for free at least, and all you have to do is 3 nuts, a bolt, you're done. What's happening to my friggin' shocks is this rubber grommet here on the bottom disintegrates itself. You know, and it's not holding the shock anymore, center in the spot. And I'm hearing this big rubbing sound when I bottom out on my shocks and stuff or run them hard. So, like I said, I went with the quick strut, a few more bucks. But this way, 3 nuts, a bolt. Now, I don't know how hard it'll be to stuff in or pull out, you know. But I'm done. And if it does screw up again, because I'm going to drive this truck into the ground, I won't have to pay for parts. Hey, Biscuit has just sent herself into the piles with a rope on, and I'll bet she's stuck. There she is. What you doing, Biscuit? Got yourself hung up now? Yeah, I thought so.
Okay. There you go.
I hope I didn't show too much butt crack. Anyways, so what's going on right here again is I'm taking out this friggin' assembly again, and I'm gonna pop in a whole new assembly instead of compressing these springs and putting in a new shock. And you'll save at least 60, 80 bucks a side if you do that. But I'm just gonna try the assembly because if it does crap out again, I want to be able to get a new one. And these were good shocks. It's just you can see how that one's twisted, and to me it looks like the rubber is ripped and folded. All right, here I go. Okay, before I knock this thing out, I just took out the bolt on the bottom, 19 millimeter, real simple. At the top there were these 3 14 millimeter around the perimeter. Don't touch the center, dog. And at this point I'm ready to knock the shock out. The last time I did this, I mangled the shit out of my hands, so I'm gonna put on some gloves and get a hammer and get this bad boy out. It just fell right out. Knocked it with a hammer once. There it was. Now, I don't know if you can see it. All around here, the rubber's ripped. And it's ripped in there too. So, oh yeah, there it is. It's separated right along there. And as you can see, like I said, it's not a perfect circle anymore. It's not holding it in its spot. It's just torn. And I could have gone with new shocks and spring compressed and everything, but like I said, by going with the quick package, I get the warranty. And if it happens again, because rubber's rubber, and I think this is where it's going to break the next time, I'll get freebie parts. Okay, time for a quick lesson on these shocks. I just figured this out. You've got 3 bolts here, or holes. The pattern for the top is the pattern here. And depending on how you rotate this whole assembly, it's going to change how that bottom orients itself to your slot. So look at your shock, spin it until you see the holes at the top lining up in your approximate locations, and your bottom grommet lining up with the bracket. For me, this is the orientation. If I go this way, it won't work, or go one the other way, it won't work. But if I hold it this way and pop it in, the holes should line up, and the grommet on the bottom will line up. You're gonna love this one. It's never easy, no matter how you do it. Okay, as you can see, the swap over ones are a little bit too long, like maybe an inch. And it's just a matter of getting them compressed and lined up. So over here, this part of the suspension on somebody else's video, whatever this tie rod thing is here, I started loosening the top nut to drop it down. Getting some space. I figured when Haas comes home, I'll have him help me pop it in. Go to the other side, and I'm trying to friggin' loosen it up, and sure as shit, it damn busted right off the top. The piece was right in here and snapped right off. What the hell am I gonna do? So then I'm fighting this ball socket thing off, and it's just spinning because it's right down in there. Pain in the ass. So now I'm gonna go to Toyota and get 2 of whatever these things are for each side and replace them. With those gone, man, you got all kinds of friggin' room to make your suspension do whatever the hell it is you need to, and get the piece in. Fuck me. Alright, it's always something. I finally got all the parts. Took almost a week. They ordered all this shit and then didn't send me the nuts. I can reuse this one from the bottom, but this one at the top was so rusted that I actually needed new stuff. Now, I'm lucky that this didn't break on the road. I don't know if you can see this, but this shaft is down to about 2/3 of the size it should be. And there's a shot of them overlapping. And this one here, you can see, it looks like a rotten tooth there down at the bottom, right next to the rubber here on the right-hand side. Yeah. Man, if I were you and you've got a Tundra, I'd go out and put a friggin' wrench on this nut and see if the turns or if this shaft just wants to friggin' flex, because that's what happened to me. And they're located right here in the truck. Okay, I'm in position. Bolts in like that and stands up and goes through there. Okay, and I will do in the bottom first, stand it up, and then compress the arm or whatever the hell it is up to get the top bolted in. Use the jack, it'll be simple. All right, now the one tool that seemed to be the specialty item that I needed was a 6mm Allen wrench. And since I didn't have one, I bought one of these sockets that goes in this hole here in the bottom. There you go. And that's how you tighten this nut, is by having an Allen wrench in that hole. Okay, well, they were a bitch to get out, vice grip and all the other crap, but I'm glad they're gone. And there's the new rubber, the new stuff. As far as whatever the part numbers are, just go to Toyota, tell them to look up your front end. They'll hook you up. All right, the shock is in, and I bolted up the very bottom down here, and all I've done is put a washer, the rubber. I've got this lined up for whatever, a sway bar or whatever that is. And now I've slipped the jack under the shock absorber, and let me see if you'll be able to see what I'm doing here. Let me just do a little camera adjustment. Okay, where's my piece that I'm looking for? There we go. Okay, right in the middle of your screen here. When I crank, that piece should come through. Yep. I'm almost there. I've cranked it so it pretty much touches in the bottom. There we go. It's not quite touching. I'm going to keep turning. Not quite there. I'm going to turn it until that rubber is actually just seating up tight. Almost. Wonder how much higher I'm going to have to go. Let's try it. I'm touching. I'm close. Might be as high as I can get it. Let's put it together. And these washers and rubbers are pretty self-evident of which way's up. These are universal. These only have one way. And then that goes on the top. I'm going to put a wrench here to hold it, socket, and then do it down. Side one done. Really simple. If I hadn't have broke those pieces, really using the full replacement struts, it's about a 15-minute job. It's about as hard to change the tire as it is to change the shock. But you've got to be able to loosen up and drop this bolt. And if you can't, it's going to shear off like this and you're screwed. 6mm will get this off, and then whatever the wrench sizes are. But man, if I had a Tundra and I watched this video, I would go out and see if I could put a wrench on, I don't know what they're on, sway bar something. They're somewhere in the front suspension. I don't know what they're called, but I'd check to see if these things are rotten. Because mine were, and if this had broke, it'd have been the death wobble for the tire, I'm sure. It's some kind of stabilizer arm. That's probably what it is. All right, off to the other side. I'm done. Here's the wrap up. It didn't even take, once I had the parts, another 30 minutes to slap it all back together. A couple of bolts and it's done. Listen, this is the third time that I've had to put the shock absorbers on this truck. It seems the rubber grommet here keeps getting eaten out. Now, if you looked at my earlier video, I did the spring compressor and I changed these bad boys. But I decided to spend a little more money. I got the quick struts from Monroe. 3 bolts at the top, bolt at the bottom. If I hadn't run into the broken parts, it'd have been a real slick finish, easy. Plus, they come with the lifetime guarantee, so when pair number 4 needs to go in, I'm going to actually be able to get a freebie on that. I should have bought them the first time. Just trying to be cheap. No. If you're going to keep your truck and drive it into the ground, buying lifetime part replacement things is not a mistake. Yeah, and hey, if you recognize this, body style, the 2000 to 2005, whatever it is, Tundra, if your truck is that body style, you need to go out and friggin' put a nut on these, whatever they are, control arm things that go to sway bars or by your front end. You saw them in the video. You can see they're rotting out. I mean, this one looks like a bad tooth here with as much that's missing. If these things break on the road, you got real problems, maybe even a car accident. And if you're like me in the middle of the woods, what the hell are you gonna do? You know, come on. So I'm so lucky. I consider myself lucky. The shocks went out and I actually had to put a nut on these things. The rubbers are all dried out. Everything's damn seized up. So I'm glad I changed them out. Okay, so it was an easy fix. Expensive. You're going to spend almost double for the assembly than you will for just the shock, but I think it's worth it. It takes as long to take off the wheel as it does to swap out the shock if everything is rust free. If you're like me and you got to break things, that's a struggle. Once I had all the parts, it went together in 5 minutes. So, one more thing I need to talk about since I got you here. And this is a new thing I'm trying. Somebody's probably going to tell me I'm screwing up, but let me get the camera off the stand. There we go. Biscuit's been working hard, making sure that everything is top notch. Let's open the hood. For the most part, everything looks good on the Tundra, doesn't burn any oil, but I did notice, I don't know if you can see it, it's the valve cover nuts. See how greasy and shit it all is? It looks like it's starting to leak. Same thing a little bit on the other side here. And of course, most people would say, hey, just change your valve cover gaskets because that's what's friggin', where is it? Here, let me back up, find it. You can see some more oil. There's in there. Right down there, that's the valve cover gasket area. So, instead of changing the valve cover gasket, I went through with a friggin' socket and I tightened up all these damn bolts. You know, because the ones on the top for the most part were tight, but the ones on the bottom, you could have took them out with your fingers. So I'm hoping just a little retorquing. I'm going to clean the area off, monitor it, and we'll see. That could be my new fix for a leaky valve cover gasket that's just minimal leaking. I'll keep you posted how that works. Other than that, the Tundra is running good. 246,000, I think, on it, or 47,000. But yeah, hey, with just a few hand tools and a YouTube video account, I'm able to keep this bad boy rolling. And I've used up all my parts from Toyota. Here, anybody who wants part numbers, there they are. It's called the cushion. I needed 4 of those. And then I got 2 of these assembly linkages for front stabilizer. So they go to the front stabilizers. And there's the number for that one. And then I got 2 of these things, lock nuts. This is what they forgot to order the first time. Had to wait 3 extra days for these bad boys. And then these are the retaining cushions. It says 2, but I got 4. Because it's 4, 4, and 2. And then 2 nuts. Anyways, that's what's there. All the pieces are in. And I'm cool. I'm going to pick up my tools. I've got to do something about resorting the toolbox a little bit and recycle those shocks. I'm not even going to open them up. But, man, the gold truck's running. I'm going to have to take it out for a test drive and see how it steers. Hopefully this didn't change the front end alignment dimensions. I matched whatever I did to one side to the other, so usually that's a good sign, or, you know, a way to keep things even.